USA Warrior Stories is a not-for-profit organization designed to record, archive, and share videos of veteran stories, to help veterans make a connection with one another and to help us all better understand their sacrifices for our freedoms.
I was on 4 merchant ships right during the early part of the wars, and then later on more. I only survived one sinking, but we were under fire at other times, and sometimes we were lucky, and other times, well, that's the way it was. Yeah, my name is John Edward Laughton, 1923, October 13th, born and raised in San Bernardino County, but at an early age came to Salinas, California, and was raised in Salinas. All the schools there, and I have a little story there that goes with it. Another student and myself, John Frisetto, from Castroville. His father was an artichoke grower, and he said, "Hey Ed," he said, "why don't we catch a bus and go to San Francisco and go to the hotel, stay for the night, and next morning let's travel Market Street, San Francisco, because the war is just getting started." And I said, "We'll find out what we want to join." So we walked up and down Market Street to all of what government had to offer, many, many doors. And we ran into a small little office and joined the Merchant Marine. And that's how it all, and we visited there and got papers. And if we passed the physical in a few weeks, why, we were soon on basic training on Treasure Island, right in San Francisco Bay, and went to sea for a period of time, 6 to 9 months, and we were the only cadet group in all of the services that were sent to sea during war. I didn't realize that till later, but they sent us to sea right away, and we were on ships under contact with the enemy, and there were a lot of thrills, and it was what it was. And all through that period of time, then we graduated, came and put our time in at sea. Then we were sent to Kings Point, Long Island, where the Merchant Marine Academy was being built. And we served there for over a year and a half, and were sent to sea. And so that was kind of the preliminary of our experience with the Merchant Marine. Yeah, 41 to 45.
41 you came out of Kings Point.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. And I was mostly in the Pacific Ocean most of the war, some in the Caribbean, and then in the Atlantic. So then we had to, was very cautious because the Atlantic was full of German submarines, and a lot of sunken ships along the east coast of the United States. Then I went into service on 4 different ships during the war. 2 were Liberties and 2 were Victories. Then I was sunk on 1 Victory ship during the war, the Hobbs Victory. The kamikazes at that time had 350 kamikaze airplanes, suicide airplanes, and they would send them south to attack us in the later part of the war, and to attack us from the island. So 350 ships were sent down, and they slaughtered the Navy because the Navy had come in early. We were there a week after the Navy settled. We were due there earlier, but we were into weather conditions getting there, and they were they just annihilated them with these planes. And 4 of them were coming down from the south, and I was, by that time, a second mate on it was a Victory ship, the Hobbs Victory, and I served with the skipper on the bridge during the attack, and because all the gunners were busy, everybody was busy. And I saw 4 enemy planes coming down just by chance when I was there on the bridge, and told the skipper, I think we got 4 enemies coming down. He says, tell the gunnery officer, and the gunnery officer says, okay, we got them spotted. And they flew south of us for a while, and then they turned and for miles, and then we were too high for us to do any shooting on them, and they sent 2 of them from the south up in, and 1 went into the Navy fleet that we had been with, but the Navy excused us merchant ships because we had ammunition aboard, and if we got hit, they didn't want to get blown up.
Good luck. Hope you make it.
6,000 tons.
Yeah, 6,000 tons. The gunnery crew shot down an enemy, one of the kamikazes earlier before we got hit, and the skipper went in and blew the ship's horn. I said, "What are you doing? What do you want me to do?" He was sounding the ship's whistle of victory, for the moment.
Yes.
And then it wasn't many, within an hour later, we were hit. Dry mouths. And I survived, and we were hit. The plane came in and hit us at the radio shack. We called it the radio shack, and it killed my buddy that we would go to Liberty on, and he was in his 40s. He didn't even need to have to be in service, but he'd always call me up for a good musical program. And so there was so when I was on the bridge with the skipper, and I happened to be on the port side when the plane that hit us was coming in, and it only had moments because he was coming on a curved area 40 feet above the ocean to get so that he wouldn't get hit. And our gunnery hit them, but before our gunnery hit him, I grabbed another sailor and I said, let's go down to the lifeboats on the starboard side, because they're been coming in where I got danger on the port side. And I know I dashed down toward where I had my cabin to get my papers on my life jacket, and it was all ablaze, so I didn't have a chance for that. A big oak door we were trying to open out from the inside out to the deck to get down to the lifeboat was jammed, and because of the weather, and when the plane hit us, it blew it off its hinges. So the concussion was so great, and I got into the only engine lifeboat we had left. Got to sea loaded with sailors. A lot of our sailors had been blown over the ship. The plane landed in the engine room, killed all the engineers. There were 5 of them, and the chief mate tried to get down in there to say, and he said, it's all on fire. Well, yeah, that's right there. They got us onto a hospital ship. And we lost 13 out of 99 aboard our ship. And saw a lot of the parents, met with them in warehouses. We had meetings to console next of kin, and, brings tears. Oh boy. When the Allies approached the European across between England and the English Channel, and how they got onto their ships, and how the Germans shot them up coming in on the beach, And we didn't have, luckily, we didn't suffer that kind. But we suffered if you were aboard ship. And we were one of the top outfits that lost so many ships, you know. But everybody that was in it suffered, you know. You know, lucky to be here. Thankful.
Thank you
Yeah, you bet.
for sharing and being with us today.
Shoot.
Tell me how it must feel to be a part of this ceremony and finally get
Yeah, I'm lucky to be here, and I'm appreciative that I survived and came out relatively healthy to get this age. And now in this week, I may have a visit with the president in the next day or so. And my family said, "What are you going to say?" I said, "Hi, Joe." What are you doing? Praying for money to run the country. Okay, well, thank you again.
Heave ho.
Heave ho. That's true.